with our children, Renita and I, we try to make sure that this is SEAC, set the standard for our children, let them know what the expectation is, and educate them to a point where they know how to be adaptive. Okay, so we don't want them to come to any situation where this is a cookie cutter. You have to navigate, you have to move, and you have to learn how to make your next move the best move. And so we teach that and say our baseline is training. Our baseline is education. Every morning when you talk about being purpose-driven, intentional, what have you, in the morning I'm typically responsible for taking our children to school. And we talk every morning. And we read the Bible on the way to school. And we talk about honoring God in every decision that you do. We talk about honoring yourself in every decision that you do or you make. And those are the standards and expectations that we want them to live in and live by. And so with that, we know our children. And then we establish a baseline in that open communication, just like Brother Ed said. We have that open dialogue. And so it's a two-way street. It's no cookie cutter situation. And so that's how we've been able to navigate applying that adaptive situation where we talk about standards, expectations, and being adaptive and keeping an open dialogue.
Yes, sir. And I forgot to finish the story, but he cringed in regards to my son. He cringed because he had become accustomed to so many whoopings that he just thought that was coming. And I'll never forget the feeling that I had. But my point is, what I had to do then was learn who he was. And while she was good at reading, writing, and arithmetic, he was more into arts and crafts, and he's good with his hands and different things like that. So our kids are going to have, just distinctive characteristics and qualities. And you have to be intentional, I feel. You have to be intentional about singling out and being intentional about each one. Anyone else want to speak on that? Yes, sir.
Yeah, y'all jump in. I think, by having that, being intentional about the different personalities of our children is very important. And I always say a goal that is not written down is a wish. And so you have to have a plan, just like you plan for anything else. I have a plan for all about my children. Right, and so it makes me think about the verse in Habakkuk 2:2-3 that says, then the Lord answers saying, write it down, write down the message. Write what you see, write it out in big block letters so that it can be read and that you can go back to it. This vision is a witness pointing you in the direction of what's to come, right? And so for each of our children, right, they're going to get there. You have to have a vision for them. They are our arrows into the future, and so we're guiding them. And so everyone can't go with the same plan, right? It's an individual plan to that child. And like what Moses was saying, you have to have that personal relationship. I've been very blessed. My father's here today.
Yeah.
Has always been in my life. Me and my dad have always been close. And what was important, I think was fundamental about our relationship is that he allowed me to get to know him, and he knew me. Right, so I didn't feel like I ever had to hide from my father because I don't feel like he ever hid from me, even when he didn't get things right, even when there were some challenges in life and things like that he was working through. He exposed me, and was willing to share those things with me as he was working to find solutions to various things. And so I think in parenting to be able to, one is that relationship for your children to know you, and for you to know them. Right, and I think when you know them, you don't find yourself, like you said. I can only imagine how that hits you, like when it cringe, right? Because it's under having that understanding and having that relationship, right? So even in my failures, and so that's when I think about putting a plan together for my children. I don't want to create a space in that plan to where they failed at something or they fell short, that they have then in turn feel like they have to hide from me, right? Because I want to see it all, and I want them to understand that I love you through it all, through the successes and the failures, the good times and the bad times. I'm gonna rock with you. Like either way, we still we're gonna get back. We have a plan. Like we're gonna get back to our plan. We're gonna get back to it. We know what the vision is. It's written down. It's gonna happen, and there's gonna be some challenges on the way that we're gonna work through together.
Anyone else before we go to our next question?
I just want to say that there are some some super well prepared brothers. Because when I was getting ready to have kids, I was like, okay, well, it's happening. You ready?
We here now.
I gotta be. You got to be here now. It's happening. Yeah, y'all way more prepared than I was. But I also think that again, come back to self-awareness. I've definitely been, you know, in my 44 years of being here, I'm action first, thought later. You know, so I mean that's kind of not going away. So I've learned how to navigate that within myself. And then again, it's also just paying attention to the kids. I had a different relationship with all my children. My daughter's different. They are different. You know, so I talk to them differently, right? But then they are also close in age that, you know, one of them hear me talking to one of them a certain kind of way, and I'm talking to a different one, you know, another kind of way. And so I oftentimes find myself explaining to them why I deal with them the way that I deal with them, which helps them to understand how to deal with each other, right? You know, when they have conflict within themselves, like, she don't want to play with you like that. She don't like, you know, when you talking to her crazy. Like, so it's a cool dynamic, but, you know, the whole point of this story was y'all was some real well prepared names and letters and, you know, none of that. I missed that. Yeah, I need to start over.